Hi everyone, this is just a video on how to set up an old Android phone or tablet with 4G capability. How to set it up so that every time you get in the car, it automatically starts broadcasting a Wi-Fi hotspot. So yeah, very simple script. The application I use is Automate. Obviously, I'm showing you this on my BYD car screen, but you want to have this app installed onto the actual device. If that makes sense. You can use other apps as well, but I prefer to use Automate. That's just what I know how to use. Okay. Cool. Well, let's just get started. First of all, it's a free app. You can download it on Aurora. So if you go to Aurora Store here, let it load. Right, and then you go, oops, search Automate, enter Automate by Llama Lab. Alright, it's free. Okay, don't pay for it, it's free. Cool, so once we go in, so remember this has to be on the actual device that you want the Wi-Fi hotspot to be broadcasting from. We're going to check settings first to make sure we've got everything we need. You don't need premium, don't really need much. You do want to run on system startup as well, because obviously you want the phone to be using this. Okay, that's about it, I think. There's nothing else I need to do here. Cool, let's go back. So this is the home page. We're just going to go plus. And flow beginning just basically means, start of the program, right? So we're just going to, can I zoom out here somehow? I can't zoom out here. Okay, well, I'm just going to have to make do then. First, I'll give it a name. If I can rename it. How do I rename this? Cool, title. I'm just going to call it, what am I going to call this? I'm going to call this, let's call it BYD Auto Hotspot. Gonna call it Auto Hotspot when charging. Okay, cool. So the idea of this script is so that you want a situation where when you get in the car, so when the phone starts charging, basically, because obviously the USB ports of the car are switched off when you turn off the car, and they're switched on, so when you turn on the car. So that's how we're gonna use that as our trigger in terms of our if condition to get the hotspot to turn on and off based on the status of the USB port. That makes sense. So first of all, we're obviously going to need to create a check to see whether the AC charger is plugged in or not, right? So I believe it's called power source. Cool, power source plugged in. Okay, so we're going to do this. So flow beginning, as soon as the program starts, it's going to check, is the power source plugged in? We don't want to do when change. We want to check it for immediate settings. It's not wireless, it's going to be USB and AC port. Go back. So, sorry, got to save it. So change from when changed to immediately. Make sure it's AC and USB port. Save. Okay. So we're going to do. Let's see. Cool. We're going to do. Yeah, is AC well charged? So if it's plugged in, okay, we want to disable. Oh, this is not very big of a workspace. Let's see if I can move this to the side. There we go. Okay, so I guess it gets wider as you do it. So if AC charger is plugged in, what do we want it to do? We kind of have to work backwards. So what I mean by that is, you want to make it so when the car turns off, you want the phone to go into ultra battery saving mode to use the minimum amount of battery required. Makes sense? So we're talking about turning off Wi-Fi hotspot, turning off mobile data, turning on airplane mode, if that makes sense. So first we'll turn off airplane mode. Airplane. Cool. So if the power is plugged in, so basically when you get in the car, turn off airplane mode. and then we want to probably add a bit of delay, so we don't want the next script to run too soon. So we'll just do this. So charger plugged in, airplane mode off. We'll just make it wait like 2 seconds. I think that's good enough. 1, 2, right? Save, cool. And after 2 seconds, we want to check whether the Wi-Fi hotspot is enabled or not. The reason why you want to check, whether it's enabled or not is because if for some reason there's a broken logic in your script and your Wi-Fi hotspot is already enabled up until this point, if the script tries to enable it again, it's going to error out and just stop the script completely. So it's going to just cancel the whole operation. So you need to check, is it enabled? If it's already enabled, then you kind of don't need to do anything more, right? Because if it's already enabled, then you already have what you want. So if it's enabled, then go back to the start to check for this, right? Cool. But if it's not enabled, of course we're going to want to enable it. So set Wi-Fi hotspot state. If it's not enabled, then we want to enable it. Wi-Fi hotspot on, okay? And once that's on, then we can go back to the beginning again. Cool, so that's that. So that's that. And that's basically the on condition. So, talking about checking if it's on, we should check whether airplane mode is on or not, because that might bug out too. So let's go airplane mode, check is it enabled, right? So actually we should go, if it's plugged in, check if it's enabled. If it's enabled, then we disable it. Immediately. And is airplane mode enabled? Yes, then we turn it off. If it's not enabled, then we just go back to here, really, right? Okay. Actually, no. If it's not enabled, then just go to delay, right? And then we go to enable Wi-Fi hotspot. Okay. So pause at any time to look at these lines. If you are not following with logic, I might be going a bit too quick for you guys, but cool. So now we've basically written out the yes condition. Now we want to program the no condition. So basically, the no condition is responsible for when you get out of the car, right? So if the car turns off, what do we want it to do? So first, now in my particular use case, I have a Wi-Fi enabled dash cam. So I actually do want the Wi-Fi hotspot to remain on for a short period of time after the car is turned off. So I'm gonna delay the Wi-Fi hotspot disable act. I'm gonna check, for example, I'm gonna check is battery level 100%, basically. Okay, is battery level 100%? If it is, then I'm gonna add a delay. My phone is good enough for about 3 hours. I've done it, so you can change this based on your phone's capability, how good the battery life is. So I'm going to delay it by probably 3 hours. Okay, 3 hours right here. Save. So once charger is unplugged or not unplugged, once the phone stops receiving power, if the battery's at 100%, delay for 3 hours. Okay, and then I'm going to check whether the battery is charging. Now the reason why you want to check if the battery is charging is because, for example, you get out of your car, your phone's 100%, but you get back in the car before the 3-hour delay is up. You don't want to be driving midway and then have the Wi-Fi hotspot turn off and then turn back on again, right? That's not a smooth experience. So after 3 hours, it's going to check for whether the phone is charging or not, right? If it's charging again, which means you are on the road again, then we're finished. Make sense? Then we're back to the beginning and we're finished. However, if it's not charging, then we're gonna check for airplane mode again. Alright, we're gonna check for airplane mode here. If it's not charging, then we check for airplane mode. If it's already enabled, then obviously if for whatever reason it's already enabled, then we just go back to the start. If it's not enabled, then we'll set the airplane mode to enable. So airplane mode on. Then we do this, and then once it's enabled, we go back to the start. Once again, just a reminder, if you're not keeping up with this, I will be uploading this very file to the iCloud Drive share in the link below. So if you're not following on, don't worry, but I do encourage you to watch it to understand how all this works. In case you want to tweak it for yourself, it's good knowledge, right? Cool. So once that's done, however, right, the battery level might not always be 100%. For example, if you've parked it overnight, or if you parked it for a week, the phone's probably on like 40, 30%, whatever. So I do recommend making further conditions. For example, is battery level at 100%? If it is, it goes this way. If it isn't, then let's check, is battery level, say, between, I don't know, 80 and 100%, right? So we'll do a second command here. And then we want to change to immediately between 80 and we'll just do 99%. Alright, so now we're going to check, is battery level between 80 and 99%? If it is, just going to copy this. I'll just do 3 more, I think. So if it is at 99%, we're going to delay for not 3 hours, we're going to delay for, let's do 2 hours. 2 hours, right? Press OK. And then we're going to go check for this battery situation again, right? Because at the end of all the delays, we want to make sure we check the battery, okay? Then we want to do probably copy this twice more. Cool. So if it's not at 80 to 99%, let's check it for, I don't know, let's say 60 to 80%, 60 to 79%, right? And if it's between that, I'll maybe do like an hour and a half or something. Right. Save, and after that, connect this, and after the delay, we're going to go check for if it's charging or not. Probably move this over. Then we'll do, let's say if the battery's between 40 and 59%, right? We're going to delay it for 1 hour, maybe. 1 0 0. Cool. And then we're going to do, whoops. And then we're going to do one final one that's between 0, or let's just do 20 and 49%. So if it's basically 20%, let's make it only a delay for 30 minutes. Because the goal here is you don't want your phone to die. Because if it dies, then you kind of have to reach for it and manually restart it and then put the password in and then run the script, right? So we don't want that. We want to automate as much as we can. Cool, let me just make this a bit cleaner. Cool, so this is basically it. For my particular phone, it's a Pixel 2 XL by Google. When you turn on and off airplane mode, it automatically enables and disables the mobile data as well. So you do want to tweak this based on what device you're using. And my only advice is to make sure you do these checks. Is airplane mode enabled? Is airplane mode enabled? And is Wi-Fi hotspot enabled? Because if you try to enable Wi-Fi hotspot when it's already enabled, it's going to crash the script, okay? And I highly recommend you check for is the battery charging after your charger is unplugged conditions. Because, for example, if you're driving and then after 3-hour delay, it suddenly turns the Wi-Fi hotspot off. Because remember, this is power source plugged AC charger that's checking for the instant state. So you want it to be hanging around here as often as you can, because only when the state changes does it trigger this. So if the car is charging, and you didn't have this is battery charging check, after 3 hours, boom, it would instantly turn the hotspot off. That makes sense. And then when you turn off the car, it stops charging. So now it will go down the no path again. So you really want to make sure it's hanging around here for when you are getting in and out of the car. You don't want it to be jumping there for when you're in the middle of a drive. That makes sense. So yeah, this is the basic script. Please edit it, but make sure, I recommend you save this exact copy around as an original backup. You copy that and then you edit the copied version, so that if you make a mistake or if you screw up something, you can always revert back to this and know that it works. You don't need root to get this to work. However, if you want to use the location functions, for example, I tried setting it so that if I'm at home and the car's turned off, then just turn off hotspot straight away, because the dash cam can get Wi-Fi from my home network. But because my phone's not rooted, that functionality is not available. So there are some functions that are not available, but if you look through the list here, there's plenty of things you can do. Okay, have a play around, have a test. There's a lot of possibilities with this app, and yeah, hope you find this useful. And with this, you can always have an in-car Wi-Fi hotspot. It's pretty awesome. Thanks for watching, guys.